All right, so made it to Rhode Island. New place of residence. I think I've probably moved 4, 5 times now since I really started posting a lot of stuff on here. Um, and each garage is very different. So we'll do a quick little garage walk around. And then from there, probably look at some stuff that I got on the workbench. So needless to say, this one is a 1.5 car garage, so not bad in terms of size. Um, First time actually using overhead storage, so that part's nice. But we'll just do a quick little walk around real fast. So workbench is all set up. Got some storage over here. Got the bikes, of course. All those set up over here. Back over here, got the storage set up. Not too bad. Couple carbon bikes. Got the 390 over here in the corner. Couple bike boxes. Got to get rid of that. And some more overhead storage. And came with a pegboard. So first time actually using one of these. But everything came out pretty good so far. I'll just do a quick little wide view. Not bad. Anyways, on to what we're looking at today. So this is just a real quick view of the 95mm piston kit that you can get. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. If you contact them, there's a phone number that they have for their WhatsApp. And those guys are actually very responsive. I was very surprised. Went back and forth with them. They sent me instructions, explained a few things. They even, of course, I didn't really tell them that I kind of already knew, the process of doing all this together. But, the instructions they provided were really good, and they were willing to answer questions and stuff. So I thought that was awesome. So you get, obviously, the cylinder, piston. Piston is pretty nice. There were some people that I saw online that were kind of complaining about these, which I thought was kind of weird because, like, this thing is pretty nice quality piston. Dual rings plus, oil control ring as well. I don't really have a lot to complain about this so far. So this looks pretty good. You get your circlip, wrist pin. They give you some sealant, or sealer, I should say. Rings. The only thing that I did have one person that was telling me, I guess they had some issues with rings. I'm gonna go through. I'll check the ring gap and everything else, but I guess they were saying that they installed a set, or this set specifically, and during that process, from my understanding, they were like burning oil. That's hard to say because I don't know what that person's background is, and let's be honest, it could have been installation error, right? Maybe they didn't install the rings correctly. Maybe the piston rings themselves didn't get seated correctly. Any number of reasons, right? So, not 100% sure what went wrong with that. I'm kind of, what I've been debating is doing some measurements on this and comparing this to the KTM 450. There's like any number of models, but 95mm piston as well. Well, 95mm bore. I think these are actually like 93, but I'm hoping that there's an OEM set of rings that match, and if there is, that might be a good option to swap that out. It actually looks like there's some specification, right there. 95 by 1.2 plus 1.2 plus 2.0. So, I mean, that'll help me out. Maybe I can get a set of OEM rings to slap on there instead and see how that works. Although, this came from a company from India. KTM stuff, a lot of it's made in India. So, I don't know. We'll see. Head gasket. It's got some, it looks pretty cheap, but it is an all copper gasket. Not sure how thick it is. And then the instructions tell you to apply a light coat of the RTV that's on there. I'll probably end up just using some of my own. I don't know much about this, but I'd rather use some high quality stuff that I'll slap on there. Here's the cylinder. I'll just move some of this out of the way. Cylinder looks pretty good. I'm a little surprised though. Painted black, which doesn't match the gray that's on the bike. So that part's a little bit weird. I don't really know why or understand why. I'm going to go through and check the deck, make sure that it's nice and smooth and level all the way across. What they do obviously is they bore this out so that they can allow for much bigger piston. It is a pretty tight fit with this piston, but cross hatching looks pretty good. Obviously I got to clean it out, but cross hatching looks pretty good. It looks like they did a fairly good job. Now, this is technically a second gen cylinder. First gen's a little bit different, right? Because with the first gen, you don't have this bridge here. That was kind of the failure point on my first gen, which is why I blew a head gasket. This is a second gen version. It also has the water jacket itself. On the first gen has ports that are up here, right? But then the cylinder head, when it goes on top, it just blocks them off. So they strengthen the head, one by adding this port, and then just sealing this off anyways for the water jacket. I'm assuming they just determined that it was just not necessary. Yeah, right here. So you can see this is the inside of the water jacket. So it goes inside, does what it's supposed to, and you get these lines here. This is your oil line up here, and then obviously your cylinder bolts go through here. Overall, I mean, the kit is pretty nice for what it is. A lot nicer than what I thought. I was kind of wondering the condition of the piston, but it definitely looks like it's a forged piston of some kind. So we'll see. I've heard good things. It seems like more and more people are kind of dipping into actually purchasing this kit. I know one guy that I've spoken to a few times. He's a stunt rider that actually has been using this. I want to say he said he's put like 1,000 miles on it so far, but the difference is like his mileage is very abusive. I mean, he's redlining it nonstop, and so far it's been holding up, doing pretty good. So I'm not overly concerned about that. It sounds like it's not a huge ordeal if his is able to survive. The one thing that I do recall is that he did say that, you know, he was having some temperature related issues, but again, he's beating the living crap out of his bike. What I will say is in their instructions, what they tell you to do is for the actual coolant passage channel on the head side, if you have a first gen head, to go in and bore out some of the material that goes to the head. For one, it kind of port matches it. And then for two, it allows more flow to the head and, you know, increases cooling in that capacity, right? It's not going to do much to help cool, you know, the cylinder overall, but being that it's metal on metal contact, that's going to have some effect when it comes to that heat dissipation, heat transfer. So that is something I'll have to look at once I get everything pulled apart. This is going to be the winter project because, as you guys know, in Rhode Island, it snows a lot. Well, maybe not as much as some of these other New England states, but it does snow. It does get really cold, and my limit to riding is probably like 35 degrees. After that, kind of hanging it up, and it's hanging out in the garage at that point. So I'll go ahead and take it apart and look at doing some more stuff. So last time when I had the head off, I did not port the intake. Now that I'm doing this, I probably will port the intake manifold, the intake passages in the head itself. I did port the exhaust side, so this time the goal is to go through, port the intake side, allow for a little more airflow in that capacity, especially with a bigger piston. And then obviously, you know, I'll have to go through, do some more additional tuning work, make sure that's good to go. The only thing I've been debating is, do I want to go and get the Spears head studs? So I've not had any issues with this so far. I know they exist. I think it requires a little bit of drilling, because you have to drill out some of these ports in order for the studs to actually fit. A little bit concerned about doing that, so still debating if I want to at this point. Another thing I'm definitely going to be doing when the head comes off, I'm going to probably go through and helicoil every single bolt in the head when it comes to the cam bridge. I just, you know, I've been having a few issues here and there with the head out. I might as well just do them all. That way I don't have to worry about it later on. But other than that, that's the kit as a whole. What I'm going to probably do sometime in the future is I'll pull the other setup. I'll probably make a video on removing the engine. It's probably going to be another long one, but there's a lot of steps to pulling the engine. But I'll do one of pulling the engine. I may even do one of the actual install for all of this. And then I'm definitely going to do another video on comparing kind of this kit specifically with the OEM setup. That way you can kind of see side by side. You know, we can do some weight measurements, things of that nature. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Installation, all that stuff's going to go together. So anyways, if you got any comments, suggestions, or recommendations, or things that I should consider prior to going ahead and tackling all this, throwing it together, hit me up. Let me know down below. And then maybe we can look at adding that to the list. I'd like to see if there's things that I can do, you know, in the process. I was talking to a guy, I haven't done it yet. I've been looking into it for a while. There's a water pump impeller upgrade that you can do. That is with the 450, the KTM 450 impeller. I think you just have to do a little bit of trimming, and then you can add that on there to get rid of the plastic one. I've been debating that as well. I may end up doing that just because I'll already have all the coolant drained at that point, so I'm going to swap those out. But we'll see. It just kind of depends on when this project actually starts to end up happening. So, but that's it for now. If you got questions, as always, just mention them below, and then we'll go from there.